So today we're going to go over the 54-inch Spalding portable goal. Our kids are ready to play. Here's everything you're going to need. I did not use the safety glasses. I used 1.5 people to set this up. Everything else pretty much used. It is not that hard. It just takes a little bit. First, we're going to take this post and we have to put 3 together. This is going to be our main goal post. It says you're going to go down until you can line it up with the lines, but I didn't see the lines. Right here, we're going to take these pins and these little caps. We're going to take those pins, slide them through the wheels and the wheel brackets, and then you're going to take a hammer and tap those little caps on, and it's going to hold them tight. It's not that hard. I did it, no problem at all. Didn't even think I needed a video for it because it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you get these lined up, you're just going to take that 1/2 inch bolt, go through the base and through the bracket for the... Once you get that on there, just go ahead and snug it up with your 1/2 inch. I'm a daredevil, so I'm going to go ahead and use an impact driver. I'm sure the instructions say not to do that, but I didn't get too crazy, so I did it anyways. Next, I'm going to take this bracket, and it's going to go on the bottom of the base to hold the pull up. It's kind of hard to get it up there. I put 1 bolt in and then let it hold the bracket up, then went and got my impact, and then put the second one in, lined it up. This was a little bit time consuming, but it's not that bad. There's really no other way to do it. Once you get that on there, you are good as gold to keep rolling forward. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, this doesn't seem too bad. Next, we are going to go ahead and put some braces on this post because we need it to stand up. From here forward, I am not going to cinch anything down very tight. I'm only going to go hand tight, because if you go tighter than hand tight, it's going to have to be undone and maneuvered around. Make sure you get the flat part on that pole, and there's a little flat foot on each of these braces that go down on the base, so that goes down on the base. Once you hold it up to it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Make sure you find yourself some help. You can see I found some good help here to help hold this pole up. It might stay up on its own, but it's kind of flimsy because it's just on the plastic. So it's nice to have a little bit of reinforcement holding it up. Luckily, I had some great help. I'll put these bolts down in the bottom, finger tight, we'll hold them up. Next, we're going to take these bolts and we're going to use it to put on the ball return bracket. It goes on the front, same thing, just go finger tight. You don't want to cinch them down because you have to move it around a little bit to get them to all line up. So put them through there, you have to give them a little love tap with a mallet or a hammer, and then just go finger tight with the nut on the back. I believe there's 6 of them. It's not that bad, it just takes a little bit. Once you get going on this project, it really doesn't seem that long. Next, we're going to take some of these bolts and we are going to get ready to put them on... What, I can't remember. Maybe we're putting them on the bracket. Oh, it's probably for the handle, isn't it? Yep, that's what it is. We're going to put them in the handle. Once they go on the handle, you just kind of snug them down. Remember, it's plastic going on metal, so don't tighten those down very tight at all. Just kind of get them snug. Here's the bracket that holds the handle that raises and lowers the backboard. These parts are kind of hard to find because they're not labeled that well in the packages, but if you look at the directions, it does have actual sizes you can match up with, so that's probably the easiest way to go. Put that bracket on the front of the pole, and we're going to put the holder for the backboard raise and lower level on the back, snug it up. There is a little keychain type thing that goes on the pin that holds it up, so we're going to put that on the back. Now, the instructions say to lay it down like this, and that is true because it'd be hard to put it up the other way. These brackets I put on 3 or 4 times, looking at the directions. You kind of get twisted around looking at it upside down, but here's how it's supposed to look when you get it on there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and work on the backboard. And to do this, I'm going to put these little trim pieces on, and then these little screws go in there. There's not many of them, pretty easy. Just holes lined up, sink them in there, and you will be good to go. Now, this part is where it gets a little more difficult. It's not that bad, but you got to line it up, put these little washers in there, keep everything even and lined up. To do this, it's still hanging down. Now, you'll see here in a minute that there's a spring that goes on these that hangs on this other little pin that goes through there, make it easier to raise and lower. I put my pin on the top bracket, but I believe it goes on the bottom bracket. Didn't seem to make that much difference to me, but the instructions do say to put it on the bottom, I believe. Make sure that you're paying attention to that and not just watching this video, because you might put it on there wrong. I left it, didn't bother me, but I did notice that it looked a little different on the instructions. I'll say it again, do everything hand tight because you're going to go back and redo things. See, here's my spring. I went on that top bracket. You can see down low, you can go on the other one. I used a strong screwdriver to get a little bit of leverage. That way I could just slide it up there without hurting myself. I would suggest doing something similar to that, because if that puppy comes off, it is going to get your hands pretty good if it pinches it or hits you in the face. That's probably the scariest part of the project. So other than the spring, this is exactly how it should look. So look at this while you're going through there. Make sure yours looks the same. It's not that hard, but you can get it backwards pretty easy. Now, I went finger tight on everything. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back and cinch everything down before I set my goal up and move it around or anything like that. That is what I'm doing here. I'm going to say it again so you don't get mad at me. Probably says not to use an impact or anything like that, but I did because it's quicker. Just be careful with it and you'll probably be fine. This is where you set it up so we can start working on the rim. The rim's easy. This is actually going to be the easiest rim that you've ever seen to install. The easiest one I've done. I've put probably 50 rims up in my life. This one is very simple. You need to get something to weight it down because it is a little bit tipsy still because there's no water in the base, so I put some pellets back there. You can see this bracket for the rim. Pretty easy. Put those bolts in, put this little pin thing on the back. It bolts right into the backboard, and then the rim just sets in the lip there and pushes up over those bolts. In the instructions, it looks like you're supposed to put the bolts through the rim, but you do not, so don't get confused on that. You're just setting it over. That one spring and bolt in the middle is what holds the rim up. It's so easy. You can adjust it to make it be a dead rim or a stiff rim. Fill it up with water once you get it where you want it, and you'll be ready to play. I hope this helps somebody out there, and, well, I don't know, maybe watch the next one if you want to. See ya.